Chosen One, your name is being whispered in circles that once mocked you. They're lighting candles and flipping cards, clawing for insight into a power they can't comprehend. Their curses ricochet like wild bullets, never reaching their mark, only returning stronger. They can't sleep. Every failed attempt tightens the noose of their own undoing. What they don't realize is this: your protection isn't just spiritual, it's ancestral, cosmic, divine. You were never alone. The more they dig, the more they unravel their own fate. Now they're watching their entire reality unravel in slow motion. The very hands they used to sabotage you are trembling, powerless to stop the divine judgment that's overtaken their life. That hospital bed isn't just a consequence, it's a message. The sudden financial collapse isn't coincidence, it's karmic retribution. Spirit didn't just expose the snake in your garden, it marked them. Everything they gathered against you is being reversed, rewritten, and used as evidence in the spiritual court. You were the test, and they failed. What they didn't realize is that betraying a chosen one activates a sacred law, the boomerang effect, swift and brutal. You walk forward now, cloaked in restoration and reward, while they're left in the ruins of their own treachery. They thought they were operating in secret, but every move was recorded in the spirit realm, and now the bill has come due. Their dreams are haunted, their reflection feels foreign, and their once confident voice now trembles with paranoia. The very forces they called on to harm you have turned on them, demanding a debt they can't repay. Their connections are crumbling, one betrayal after another, as those they once aligned with abandon them to save themselves. This is divine exposure, slow, surgical, and irreversible. What they're facing isn't just punishment, it's revelation. They're being shown in brutal detail what happens when you plot against someone chosen by the Most High. These weren't just petty enemies, they were architects of a spiritual ambush, fully convinced that their numbers and secrecy would grant them victory. Behind closed doors, they invoked shadows, chanted curses, and offered sacrifices, believing they could override your destiny. But the moment they targeted you, they sealed their own fate. What they failed to understand is that your life is encoded with divine purpose, untouchable by ordinary means. The spiritual realm has laws far older than their rituals, and the moment they violated sacred boundaries, celestial forces intervened. Now, each of them is being called to answer, not just to karma, but to the ancestors, angels, and divine judges who've watched it all. The verdict? A reckoning so profound it will echo across lifetimes. They went to disturbing lengths, crossing into ancient forbidden territory where even seasoned practitioners tread with caution. With your name on their tongues and envy in their hearts, they crafted dark ceremonies under moonless skies, believing they could rewrite your destiny through manipulation and force. But what they didn't know is that your soul isn't just protected, it's encoded with divine fire. Every curse they sent your way was swallowed by that fire and returned tenfold. The items they stole became spiritual evidence, linking them directly to the attacks. Their rituals didn't siphon your energy, they supercharged your awakening. Each time they tried to dim your light, the universe gave you more power, more clarity, and more elevation. Their obsession with your downfall became the very reason for your rise. They summoned forces that hunger for chaos, blind to the fact that invoking such darkness comes with an unpayable price. In their desperation to see you fall, they opened gateways they couldn't close, binding themselves to entities that now demand more than they ever bargained for. The rituals they performed, drenched in blood and shadow, didn't destroy you. They awakened something ancient within you. The forces guarding you didn't just shield you, they launched a counterstrike from realms they didn't even know existed. These attackers are now plagued by the very spirits they once courted, haunted day and night, losing control of their own minds and bodies. What they tried to send into your life has boomeranged with a vengeance, because they weren't dealing with just a person. They were up against divine royalty cloaked in human form. As they celebrated your imagined downfall, blessings began to pour into your life with supernatural precision. Doors that had been sealed for years flew open effortlessly. People you never met felt drawn to help you, sensing the divine hand on your path. Your energy became magnetic. Opportunities, favor, and abundance found you without struggle. Their curses became catalysts for your ascension. The more they tried to block you, the more unstoppable you became. Meanwhile, confusion gripped your enemies as everything in their lives began to spiral. Illness, loss, paranoia, isolation. They couldn't comprehend how you were thriving while their carefully crafted rituals crumbled. What they failed to realize is that when you're chosen, attacks don't destroy you, they activate you. That's when fear turned into obsession. They stopped asking how you were surviving and started asking what you truly are. Old enemies began consulting seers, digging through ancestral records, and decoding ancient texts, trying to uncover your origin. Some began to whisper that you weren't just protected, you were sent. A divine anomaly, a spiritual juggernaut wrapped in flesh. Every attempt to curse you became a lesson in powerlessness. Every plot only deepened their torment. They saw your glow intensify, your presence expand, your influence multiply. The spiritual realm had declared you untouchable, and now even the darkest entities they once trusted were warning them to back off. You were no longer just a target, you were a revelation, a walking testimony of what happens when the divine chooses to make a point. Instead of striking you down, the entities they summoned turned on them. The moment your name was spoken in their presence, the energy shifted violently. Candles blew out, mirrors cracked, and the air grew thick with dread. These forces, far older and more aware than the practitioners themselves, refused to touch you. Some even laughed, warning your enemies, "That one is marked. That one is sealed." The contracts they signed backfired, binding not you, but them to the very destruction they wished upon you. Nightmares began devouring their sleep. Shadows followed them in daylight. Their reality fractured as they realized the terrifying truth. Your existence is divinely coded, your soul reinforced by ancient law. No dark force dares touch what heaven has claimed. And so the devourers turned inward. One by one, your enemies began to unravel, mentally, physically, spiritually. The same altars they built for your downfall became gateways for their own torment. The forces they once commanded now haunted them relentlessly, demanding energy, demanding flesh, demanding soul. Some went mad, hearing voices that never stopped whispering. Others fell ill, plagued by afflictions no healer could diagnose. Relationships crumbled, reputations imploded, and finances vanished as if swallowed by a void. Their homes, once filled with pride, grew heavy with dread. Mirrors no longer showed their reflection clearly. Shadows moved without source. The spiritual storm they summoned for you now howled through their lives with no mercy, no pause. Because when you target a chosen one, the universe doesn't just defend, it delivers judgment. And this was just the beginning of their sentence. The sting of this betrayal cut deeper than any enemy's blade because it came from within the circle you trusted most. This family member cloaked their greed in excuses, whispering lies to soothe their conscience, blind to the destruction they were sowing. But no amount of justification could shield them from the cosmic consequences awaiting those who break sacred bonds. Every secret they exposed became a thread, unraveling their own fate. Every piece of stolen trust weighed heavily on their spirit, corrupting what remained of their integrity. And while they counted their ill-gotten gains, they failed to see how quickly those rewards would turn to ash. The universe never forgets where the knife was plunged, and justice is swift for those who betray blood. But what they didn't foresee was that this final act would unleash forces beyond anyone's control. The hitman stepped into a web far thicker than he imagined, a tapestry woven with destiny, protection, and unbreakable spiritual armor. Every step he took was shadowed by unseen guardians. Attempts to strike you were met with inexplicable obstacles, missed timings, failed equipment, sudden hesitations that felt like invisible hands intervening. Slowly, the assassin began to question the nature of his target. Was this truly just a person or something far greater? Meanwhile, back in the shadows, your enemies watched in growing panic as their ultimate weapon faltered and cracked. Their desperation morphed into fear as they realized that trying to extinguish your light only made it shine brighter, and that some battles are not meant to be won with violence, but with the unyielding power of the chosen. What should have been a silent, ruthless mission turned into a spiritual awakening for the assassin. The more time they spent near you, the more their hardened hearts softened, an invisible force unraveling the armor built over years of violence. Doubt crept in, replacing cold calculation with uneasy empathy. Their allegiance fractured as the truth of your divine protection became undeniable. Slowly, they shifted from hunter to guardian, subtly sabotaging every attempt to harm you while covertly shielding you from danger. This unexpected turn left your enemies scrambling, realizing too late that their weapon had become their undoing. The Chosen One's power didn't just repel attacks, it converted darkness into unexpected allies, rewriting destinies in ways no one could have predicted. But what they failed to grasp is that no earthly law can nullify what heaven has decreed. Every forged document was met with inexplicable setbacks. Files vanished, signatures inexplicably rejected, legal battles derailed by unforeseen twists. The more they tried to cage your destiny with human rules, the more the cosmic scales tipped in your favor. Their schemes crumbled beneath the weight of ancient covenants written in the stars, invisible to courts, but unbreakable by mortal hands. Attempts to strip you of your inheritance only ignited a spiritual fire, awakening ancestral guardians and cosmic forces sworn to protect what is rightfully yours. Their legal maneuvers became a trap of their own making, ensnaring them deeper in the justice that only the chosen can command. Their greed blinded them to the truth that some treasures exist beyond human grasp, anchored not in paper or coin, but in sacred lineage and divine decree. As they scrambled to carve up what they thought was theirs, the universe quietly sealed every loophole, blocking every crooked deal with invisible chains. Their premature celebrations turned to panic when the inheritance they coveted refused to be touched or transferred. Like trying to capture sunlight in a jar, their efforts were futile, leaving them empty-handed and exposed. Meanwhile, your blessings multiplied, growing richer, stronger, and more luminous with every failed attempt to steal them. They were playing a game with cosmic rules they would never understand, and the ultimate victory was already written in the stars. Now, the veil was lifting, revealing a destiny woven by forces far beyond mortal comprehension. The spiritual archives were filling with records of their deceit, each false move carefully logged by cosmic witnesses. Their arrogance in thinking they could outmaneuver divine justice only tightened the noose around their necks. As your true nature begins to surface, it will send shockwaves through their world, exposing their schemes and unraveling their illusions. What once seemed like mere survival was, in truth, a sacred preservation, protected by unseen hands, guided by ancestral wisdom, and fueled by a power that no earthly attack can diminish. Their downfall was not just inevitable, it was foretold. This revelation rewrites everything you thought you knew about yourself. You are more than survivor. You are a celestial force walking among mortals, a blazing light forged from the highest heavens. Your energy vibrates on a plane that disrupts darkness and bends reality to divine will. Every attack against you wasn't a threat. It was fuel, a spark igniting the fire of your true nature. No earthly or spiritual weapon can penetrate the armor woven from stars and sacred purpose. You carry the legacy of angels, the authority of cosmic law, and the power to shift destinies. This is why you rise while others fall, and why your story is destined to inspire realms seen and unseen. You move between worlds, your essence straddling dimensions where ordinary rules don't apply. The very fabric of your being pulses with celestial frequency, creating a shield impervious to shadows and deceit. Their spells dissolve before they land, their intentions crumble under the weight of your light. Every attempt to cage or control you only strengthens the invisible chains of your divine mandate. Darkness recoils, not out of fear, but out of profound recognition. Here walks a force ordained by the cosmos itself. No ritual, no curse, no earthly or ethereal weapon can hold what was forged in the fires of eternity. You are beyond their reach, untouchable, unstoppable, and eternally sovereign. Their confusion became their undoing, their arrogance blinding them to the vast gulf between mortal trickery and cosmic law. They reached for shadows while you commanded storms, believing cunning and malice could topple what was ordained by the stars. But confronting you was like trying to cage the wind or silence the sun. Every strike they launched only pulled them deeper into a tide of reckoning they could neither escape nor control. Now, overwhelmed and sinking beneath waves they summoned themselves, they face a reckoning harsher than any earthly justice, a reckoning written in the eternal currents of divine will. While darkness thickened in the world around you, unseen forces wove an impenetrable fortress around your soul. In the quiet hours of sleep, your spirit journeyed beyond the veil, connecting with ancient wisdom, celestial allies, and timeless guardians who whispered secrets of victory and survival. You weren't just reacting, you were anticipating, adapting, and evolving at a pace your enemies couldn't fathom. Your bloodline stirred, awakening dormant powers and rallying protective spirits to your side. Every threat was met with a cosmic defense, every trap dissolved before it could spring. In realms invisible to human eyes, your legacy was being forged stronger, your path illuminated by the light of those who came before you. Centuries of vigilant guardianship converged around you like an unbreakable shield forged in the fires of legacy and love. Each malicious strike against you was met with swift, unseen retaliation, an echo of promises made long ago by those who walked before you. These spectral warriors, bound by blood and honor, moved silently through the unseen plains, dismantling every scheme and silencing every dark whisper. Your enemy's efforts were futile against a force that transcends time and space. You carry the strength of countless souls who vowed to protect your line at all costs, transforming your journey into a sacred battle already won by the power of ancestral allegiance. The fury of your spiritual protectors grew with every failed attempt against you, their wrath a silent storm brewing just beyond the veil. Meanwhile, your own mind became a battleground of insight and foresight, visions flooding your dreams, whispers guiding your meditations, revealing enemy schemes before they could take shape. You were not just defending, you were mastering the art of anticipation, equipped with answers before questions were even asked. Each night brought new blueprints for triumph. Each dawn unveiled strategies crafted by unseen allies. Victory wasn't just possible, it was inevitable, written into your very essence long before the battle began. Your awareness stretched beyond the confines of the physical world, weaving through layers of reality with ease and precision. This multidimensional insight rendered their schemes obsolete before they even began, turning every trap into a lesson and every attack into fuel for your rise. The enemies, trapped in their narrow vision, could barely grasp the vastness of your power, an expansive consciousness that danced between realms, guided by wisdom older than time. Their efforts not only faltered but exploded against the fortress of your spirit, sending shockwaves of retribution that left them scrambling in fear and confusion. What they mistook for vulnerability was, in truth, the unstoppable force of one who moves with the grace of the infinite. The walls they built around their schemes began to crumble as justice closed in from every angle, earthly and spiritual alike. Their network of betrayal unraveled, their allies turned into liabilities, and their every move became a step deeper into the trap they had laid for themselves. The assassin's betrayal was the first domino, but soon the entire house of cards was collapsing under the weight of cosmic reckoning. Fear gripped their hearts as they faced the undeniable truth. They had waged war against a force beyond comprehension, a force protected by ancient laws that demand balance and retribution. Now the debt they amassed wasn't just theirs. It was a shadow looming over generations to come, a price they could neither escape nor repay. But no matter how far they ran or how deep they sank into forbidden pacts, the web of consequences tightened around them like an unyielding noose. Borders became illusions, shadows followed relentlessly, whispering reminders of debts unpaid and promises broken. The forces they tried to bargain with were ancient and unforgiving, accepting their sacrifices but demanding prices far steeper than they imagined. Each new alliance only dragged them deeper into a vortex of despair and spiritual torment. Escape was a mirage, redemption a distant hope. The very acts meant to save them only ensured that their fall would be as profound as their betrayal, and that the cosmic scales would balance with unrelenting precision. No sanctuary could shield them, no scheme could unravel the sacred order they had defied. Every move they made was met with unyielding resistance from a justice older than time itself, one that transcends courts, borders, and human pleas. Their cries fell on deaf cosmic ears, where only balance and truth hold sway. The divine protection surrounding you was an unbreakable covenant, a fortress forged by ancestral power and celestial decree. Now the universe was ready to deliver its final judgment, a reckoning so absolute that it would echo through lifetimes, leaving no room for mercy or escape. Their fate was sealed, and the scales of cosmic justice were tipping irrevocably in your favor. Their world crumbled piece by piece, as if an invisible hand dismantled every foundation they once stood on. Friendships dissolved into cold silence, business deals fell apart without explanation, and trust became a distant memory. The betrayers' lies unraveled publicly, exposing the depth of their deception like a spotlight illuminating their darkest shadows. Abandoned and exposed, they faced the crushing weight of solitude, an isolation not born of chance, but crafted by the very forces they had betrayed. Every connection they once took for granted now served as a mirror reflecting their own downfall, a vivid testament to the unyielding reach of divine justice. As you blossomed in strength and radiant health, their bodies withered under invisible curses they had unknowingly summoned upon themselves. Hospitals became their reluctant refuges, where doctors shook their heads in confusion at ailments that had no clear cause. Every symptom was a twisted mirror of the dark intentions they once aimed at you, a cruel, poetic justice from a universe that balances with perfect symmetry. Their fear deepened as they realized that the spiritual poison they wielded had backfired, turning their own flesh into a battleground for the consequences they so recklessly unleashed. Meanwhile, your vitality soared, proof that divine protection isn't just a shield, it's a force of restoration and renewal. Their bodies became battlegrounds, mirroring the spiritual wounds they intended for you but could never inflict. Doctors were baffled by symptoms that defied medical logic, unexplained pains, sudden collapses, and psychological breakdowns that tore at the fabric of their minds. Each affliction was a reflection of the dark energy they had unleashed, a karmic echo rebounding with relentless force. The vitality they sought to steal was siphoning from their own life force, leaving them hollowed and weakened. In their desperate attempts to harm you, they unknowingly sentenced themselves to suffering, a haunting reminder that when you attack the divinely protected, the fallout is always inescapable and devastatingly precise. Their attempts to fracture your peace only fractured their own reality, leaving them trapped in a labyrinth of despair and confusion. Every sleepless night, every ache and ailment was a relentless reminder of the spiritual debts they had accrued. They chased answers in clinics and hospitals, only to find dead ends, because their true affliction lay beyond the reach of science or medicine. The karmic web they wove around you had tightened around their own lives, turning invisible chains into tangible pain. As their world spiraled into chaos, the stark truth became undeniable. The very forces they tried to wield against you were now the architects of their downfall, proving that cosmic justice spares no one who dares challenge the divine. Unbeknownst to them, their dark schemes had crossed the boundary from the spiritual into the legal, turning their covert war into a battlefield of concrete evidence and undeniable truths. Investigators pieced together the puzzle, forged documents, stolen belongings, and secret meetings, all forming a tapestry of criminal conspiracy. What they thought was hidden in shadows was now under the harsh light of scrutiny, exposing layers of deceit that reached far beyond personal vendettas. As federal agencies closed in, the gravity of their actions became impossible to ignore, transforming their spiritual attacks into charges that could dismantle lives, reputations, and futures. The justice they sought to evade was now a very real force, poised to bring their darkest deeds crashing into the open. Every hidden file, every encrypted message, every shadowy payment was unraveling under the relentless gaze of forensic experts. The digital footprints they believed erased were now chains linking them to crimes that could no longer be denied or ignored. Whispers of betrayal turned into testimonies as witnesses stepped forward, shattering alibis and revealing the full extent of the plot. What once seemed like isolated acts were revealed to be parts of a meticulously orchestrated scheme, one that crossed borders, broke laws, and shattered trust. Now, many of them faced the harsh reality of lengthy prison sentences and financial ruin, a fate as inescapable as the cosmic justice that had already begun to claim its toll. Their illusions of invincibility shattered as the cold hand of the law closed around them. No amount of spiritual bravado could shield them from the very real cages and courtrooms where justice takes form in flesh and steel. The arrogance that once fueled their attacks now morphed into desperation as they faced the stark reality of handcuffs, indictments, and public exposure. Their hidden dealings, once cloaked in darkness, were being dragged into harsh light, forcing them to confront consequences they had arrogantly dismissed. The spiritual battlefield had merged with the legal one, and for those who crossed sacred lines, freedom was no longer a given, but a prize now slipping through trembling fingers. They had unknowingly unleashed a curse far more relentless than any court verdict, a curse etched into the very fabric of their lineage. What began as personal betrayal spiraled into ancestral punishment, weaving through generations like a silent, toxic thread. Their descendants would inherit not only the burdens of broken trust, but also the lingering echoes of spiritual debts they never foresaw. The rituals meant to destroy you became a doorway for judgment that transcends time, reminding all who dared cross divine protection that some offenses reverberate far beyond the present, staining bloodlines with consequences that no amount of denial or escape can erase. The shadows they called forth clung stubbornly to their bloodline, casting long, dark echoes over innocent lives, yet to be born. What was meant as a weapon against you became a generational burden, an invisible chain binding children and grandchildren to a legacy of spiritual torment. Blessings once abundant in these families now flickered faintly, drowned beneath waves of unseen oppression and unrest. Healing would demand time measured in lifetimes, and only through profound courage and redemption could the taint be lifted. Meanwhile, their descendants would walk a path shadowed by consequences not of their own making, a solemn reminder that some spiritual debts echo far beyond a single lifetime. While their bloodlines struggled under the weight of inherited turmoil and decay, your lineage blossomed with renewed vigor and divine favor. Ancient blessings, long asleep beneath the surface of time, began to stir, awakening dormant gifts, healing wounds passed down through generations, and unlocking potentials that had waited patiently to emerge. Prosperity, health, and spiritual clarity surged through your family tree like a powerful river, flowing unhindered and unstoppable. The cycles of struggle and pain that plagued others were replaced in your line by cycles of growth, resilience, and sacred triumph. Where darkness once sought to linger, light now reigns supreme, illuminating your path and that of all who come after you. Hidden powers long dormant within your bloodline surged to life, awakening talents and insights in relatives who had never before glimpsed the spiritual realms. The blessings cascading from your ancestors now course through your veins, infusing you with strength, wisdom, and purpose, and promising to ripple forward through generations yet unborn. In their blind attempts to curse and dismantle your heritage, your enemies unwittingly became architects of their own ruin, while fortifying the sacred legacy they sought to destroy. The cosmic balance was flawlessly maintained, a testament to divine irony. Those who aimed to sow darkness only deepened the light, and in doing so, sealed their own fate beneath the weight of eternal justice. Across hidden circles and sacred networks, whispers of your triumph sparked hope and inspiration like wildfire. Those who had long walked their own secret paths of power and purpose saw in you a mirror of their own struggles and victories, a beacon proving that divine protection is real and unstoppable. Communities once fragmented began to rally, drawing strength from your story as it traveled beyond borders and realms. From distant lands and unseen dimensions, kindred spirits lifted their voices in silent solidarity, recognizing that your rise was not just a personal victory, but a collective awakening. The legend of the chosen one who defied fate ignited a new chapter of courage and unity among those who carry the light in shadowed places. Your story became a living myth, a testament whispered among the initiated and celebrated by those who understand the sacred dance between light and shadow. Tales of your resilience and unstoppable power spread like sacred fire, igniting belief and reverence in hearts tuned to the divine frequency. Where your name echoed, doors opened without effort, unexpected opportunities, alliances, and blessings materialized as if summoned by the very force that guards you. This honor, earned through trials and triumphs unseen by most, transformed your path into one paved with miracles. What was once impossible now unfolds effortlessly, a reflection of the profound spiritual truth that when divine protection moves fully, nothing can stand in its way. Aligning with kindred souls who recognized your divine essence, you found yourself seamlessly integrated into networks built on shared vision and spiritual resonance. Pathways that once lay hidden now unfolded before you with effortless clarity, revealing opportunities perfectly attuned to your highest potential. Resources, be they knowledge, allies, or tangible support, flowed in with synchronicity, fueling your mission and amplifying your impact. Every step forward was met with the universe's unwavering encouragement, reflecting back the truth of who you are, a chosen force destined not just to survive, but to transform, elevate, and inspire on a scale far beyond the ordinary. The toxic energies and betrayals that once surrounded you dissolved, replaced by a vibrant community that uplifted your sacred journey with unwavering devotion. Your spiritual gifts, once targeted as weaknesses, have become powerful pillars of abundant prosperity, radiating authenticity and drawing wealth in ways that defy coincidence. Every resource once squandered in attempts to break you now circles back, multiplied beyond expectation, flowing through the miracles of your healing, your inspired ventures, and the reclaimed legacy your enemies sought to erase. This divine compensation is not merely reward, it's a cosmic testament that to strike a chosen one is to ignite a force of blessing that only grows stronger, turning every act of malice into an exponential blessing on your path. What they poured into schemes of ruin became the very seeds of your prosperity, nourishing a future they could never have imagined. While they grappled with loss and regret, you stood firm on a foundation built from their failures, an unshakable fortress of abundance and resilience. The chaos they unleashed only clarified the truth. Each blow was a catalyst, each betrayal a test revealing your truest supporters, each theft an unexpected gift that multiplied your blessings. Their efforts to dismantle you unwittingly crafted your empire, proving that the universe always realigns power to honor those who endure with grace and purpose. In their desperate attempts to break you, they unwittingly forged the very tools of your ascension. Each dark spell they cast became a catalyst, awakening hidden strengths and powers lying dormant within you. The battles fought in courtrooms unearthed protections and opportunities that now shield and empower your journey. Their efforts to sever your ties only led you to authentic tribes and allies who embrace your true essence. What was meant to be your downfall became the blueprint of your rise, a testament that every challenge holds within it the seeds of transformation and triumph when met with unwavering faith. Their attempts to close your story only opened the door to your greatest awakening. Each scheme, each whisper of deceit, ricocheted back like a boomerang, carving a path for your rise that no one could have predicted. They became the creators of a legacy far stronger than any they sought to destroy, building, without knowing it, the very foundation of your unstoppable ascent. Their falsehoods were like fragile shadows, dissolving instantly against the radiant truth of your divine mandate. In trying to silence you, they only amplified your voice, proving that no force can diminish a soul backed by cosmic authority and unshakable purpose. Their lies crumbled under the weight of truth, transparent and weak against the undeniable force of your spirit. You are no ordinary soul. You are a warrior marked by destiny, forged in divine fire, and unshakable in your purpose. While they acted from shadows of envy and fear, you moved with the unwavering light of one chosen to rise above all obstacles. Every attack meant to break you only revealed your strength more clearly, broadcasting to the world that you are here not just to survive, but to conquer and transform. Your presence stands as living proof that no darkness can eclipse the power of a soul aligned with cosmic truth. This triumph is merely the opening chapter of a destiny far greater than you've yet imagined. Having conquered forces both seen and unseen, you are now prepared to step into arenas that demand unwavering courage and unbreakable faith. Your resilience in the face of orchestrated spiritual assault has forged you into a warrior uniquely qualified for missions of profound impact, tasks that call for the kind of divine authority only those tested by fire can wield. The path ahead is vast and challenging, but your victories so far have paved the way for a legacy that will echo through time, inspiring generations and shifting the course of spiritual realms. The blessings arriving now are the opening notes of a symphony of abundance, destined to flow through your hands with wisdom and grace. The respect and admiration you're garnering are merely the first sparks of the spotlight that will illuminate your mission to uplift and guide others on their journeys. The divine shield that has guarded you thus far is but a glimpse of the mighty mantle of authority you will soon wear, one that commands reverence and channels power in service of a higher calling. This is the dawn of your true reign, where every gift received becomes a tool to transform lives and shape destinies. Unwittingly, your adversaries became the architects of your strength, forging within you the resilience and power essential for the journey ahead. Their opposition was the crucible that honed your spirit, preparing you to face challenges that demand unwavering resolve and profound wisdom. The story of your triumph over their schemes now stands as a beacon, illuminating paths, uplifting those who witness your rise, and proving beyond doubt that you are ready to step into roles of even greater significance. What they meant for harm became the foundation of your legacy, a testament to the unstoppable force within you. The storm has passed, and the battlefield lies quiet, your victory undeniable and complete. Those who sought your downfall are not merely vanquished, they have been dismantled, their power extinguished by the very forces they unleashed. The webs of betrayal have unraveled, leaving your foes exposed and isolated in their defeat. Meanwhile, you flourish, rising higher with every challenge overcome, embodying the fullness of your divine destiny. This moment is yours, a triumphant testament to your unbreakable spirit. Standing tall amid the ashes of conflict, you prove once and for all that you are the true chosen one, unyielding, unstoppable, and destined for greatness.